one day somebody does something unspeakable to someone else, to someone you hardly knew, and you do something about it because you can.
This story comes to us from The Guardian. Cincinnati's Price Hill is a bastion of Latino life. On Warsaw Avenue, the neighborhood's main drag, Guatemalan flags and taco trucks are dotted around the street corners and parking lots. In the streets around the Roberts Academy Elementary School, students flood out of the school, and nearby, 4 boys kick a soccer ball around a tiny garden. It was at this school where nearly 3/4 of the student body is Latino, and 2 other nearby schools that on April 15th, Tonina Lamana, a 17-year veteran police officer in Gratis, Ohio, and a police department colleague whose jurisdiction lies 50 miles away, attempted to question school administrators about children attending the facilities on behalf of the Immigration and Customs Enforcement's, or ICE, so-called wellness checks. The law enforcement officers were not received well, absolutely. At all 3 locations, the officers whose sidearms were visible to school staff at the time and who neglected to tell administrators they were working on behalf of ICE were denied access to children they sought after failing to produce warrants or papers. They told staff in the school's main office they were conducting wellness checks and displayed a list of approximately 30 individuals' names. A statement issued by Cincinnati Public School staff said, referring to the officers' visit to the Western Hills University High School, a school with more than 400 students with Hispanic heritage. Now, again, these guys are saying they're working for ICE. The officers asked whether anyone on the list was enrolled in Western Hills. Staff confirmed the enrollment of 2 students on the list. Cincinnati's Mayor Aftab Purval called the incidents disgusting on so many levels. Rights groups say the officers' efforts speak to the frightening extent that the Department of Homeland Security under the Trump administration is going to target some of the most vulnerable communities across the country. While some police officers authorized to act on behalf of ICE are allowed to visit schools as part of an effort to check on the well-being of students, they can only do so under limited circumstances and within their own jurisdictions. Remember, the one guy was 50 miles away. Last November, DHS launched an effort involving ICE and state and local law enforcement partners that aimed at protecting the 450,000 unaccompanied children illegally smuggled over the border that the former claims entered the country under the Biden administration. Now, the Trump administration claims that sponsors of unaccompanied, undocumented children who entered the U.S. during the Joe Biden years were not always vetted properly. Said ICE does not target schools for enforcement actions, said a spokesperson for the agency, that's DHS. A local law enforcement partner attempted to verify school enrollment and conduct welfare checks on children who arrived unaccompanied across the border. The spokesperson, however, declined to respond to a question asking if ICE plans to take new measures to limit such incidents occurring again. They also declined to respond to a question asking for specific examples of undocumented immigrant sponsors charged with endangering unaccompanied minors who entered the U.S. under the Biden administration. Now, while DHS says the Trump administration has located more than 145,000 children it claims were placed with unvetted sponsors, concerns have been rising around the department's contracting of a Virginia security contractor to help with deporting children. One of the officers involved was LaManna, who was previously fired from another police department in 2017 for allegedly being untruthful and filing false documents. Do you hear that? LaManna was placed on leave from the Gratis Police Department after the incident, as was Jeff Baylor, the officer who accompanied her. Kevin Johnson, the mayor of Gratis, declined to comment on questions, asking if he had prior knowledge of his police officers leaving their jurisdiction to conduct operations on behalf of ICE. A village administrator said that a meeting to discuss an investigation into the officer's actions would be held during the week of May 11th, which we just had. Cincinnati was shocked by the deportation of 19-year-old Emerson Colindres, a star soccer player who had no criminal record. Colindres, who was deported to Honduras, attended a school located on the same grounds as one of the schools targeted by the police officers last month. Said the possibility of an immigration arrest either inside or just outside your school simply adds another layer of stress and anxiety. How can you learn if you are worried about being arrested or your parent being arrested when they come to pick you up, says Lynn Tremonte of the Ohio Immigrant Alliance. Said immigrant and Latino-owned businesses are losing workers and customers to deportation, raids taking place on their properties, or the potential for raids scare away customers. Just because a worker is arrested doesn't mean they were working illegally. Concerns have been rising across the United States that police departments are sharing license plate reader data with ICE to target undocumented immigrants in violation of those departments' own policies. They don't care, just slap on the hand. According to DFLOC, a crowdsourced website that charts the location of surveillance cameras, the closest flock camera to Western Hills University High School is less than half a mile away. By contrast, in Gratis, the village of about 800 people, an hour's drive north of Cincinnati, where the two officers acting on behalf of ICE are stationed, there are no flock cameras within a 10-mile range, according to DFLOC. Now, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, Gratis has a population that is 100% white. A public city meeting that came a week after the school's incidents saw Gratis residents turn out to protest putting LaManna and Baylor on leave due to concerns that doing so would affect safety in their own community. Baylor, the officer who accompanied LaManna to the schools in Cincinnati, far away, initially tendered his resignation, but later rescinded that due to protestations from Gratis residents. You know, the gist of this whole thing is cops are going to do what cops want to do. I mean, LaManna lied and filing false reports. You know why? Because police departments want liars and people that'll go along and get along and cover up for your buddy. Don't tell on your buddy if he's doing something wrong. You know, it's just like here in my local town, Yucaipa, California. Somebody got up. Now, this is unconfirmed, but this is coming from this woman made an allegation that there are deputies under investigation by the FBI in this city because one of their officers is a sexual deviant and they're covering up for him. It's an allegation, but
It has come to my attention that 6 officers of YPD are currently under an active investigation for serious police misconduct while on duty. They are under investigation for being complicit or actively concealing serious crimes committed by a fellow officer on their department. These officers' crimes include numerous sexual offenses, up to and including rape, involving multiple victims, including at least one child. It is my understanding that some of the victims live in our city. The Sheriff's Department was first alerted over 2 years ago at our local station level, as well as headquarters internal affairs. The department repeatedly refused to conduct a criminal investigation despite mounting evidence.
this LaManna, other officers, Memphis, Tyree Nichols, you know, it's believable because of that. All these cops that are lying and committing these false reports and committing these crimes and violating people's civil rights. So when a cop maybe get a false allegation, we don't believe it. Don't believe it one bit. You know why? Because so many bad cops are out there doing this stuff, and other cops are going, I don't see it. I don't see nothing. So when it comes to law enforcement, my humble opinion, you're all liars. You're all corrupt. And you see things that your buddies are doing wrong, things that you would arrest a normal citizen for, and you turn your head and go, I don't see it. It's my buddy. It's my buddy. It's my coworker. What do you all think? Let me know.